Hey there guys, Jay the Nerd Squatch here for Beer to Bear Entertainment, and we here at the team just wanted to give you a quick update from the WGA and the SAG-AFTRA on what we are allowed to do as entertainment journalists. So, entertainment journalists are not on strike. That means that the WGA and the SAG-AFTRA are not requiring us to stop reviewing movies that are releasing now. We cannot, however, discuss films that are struck, projects that were hit right when the strike's begun, and thus have ceased work and production. Therefore, we can talk about things that are coming out right now, like Haunted Mansion, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like Barbie and Oppenheimer, but we just can't talk about the things that the strike is affecting. That would be considered scabbing. Now, with that, TV broadcasters and journalists are also not on strike and therefore can continue their work. Something that we also know from the WGA and the SAG-AFTRA is that they are not calling for a consumer boycott. That means that you should not cancel your subscription services. Do not cancel your streaming. Do not stop going to the movies. They are asking for our support to show that their jobs are valuable. Go support the writers and the actors in what is releasing now. Hopefully we can help all together to make this a better world for both us and the people we look up to bring us this wonderful content, because without the writers and the actors, film and pop culture is nothing. So we here at Beer to Bear Entertainment fervently support the writers and the actors' right to strike and will continue to support them until they are given fair compensation for their work. Thanks guys, and remember, much love. Stay awesome, stay bearded. I'm out of here.
Secret Invasion, the comic book crossover storyline that came out back in 2008, has now spawned into the 9th iteration of Disney Plus Marvel Cinematic Universe television shows. And that's what we're here to talk about today. We got to see Samuel L. Jackson reprise his role as Nick Fury. We got to see that awesome actor that I can never remember his name come back as Talos. And we also got the Mother of Dragons herself, Daenerys Stormborn, in this show, along with another star-studded cast, a bunch of other people. We're going to get into it right now. And oh yeah, I'm back, and I promise I'm not a Skrull. So let's get into it with my co-hosts, The Beard and Jay the Nerd Squatch, this week on Season 4, Episode 15, titled Redacted. Right after this, please stand by.
No, Holly, that's my line. You're tuned in to the Bear and Beard podcast. Enjoy the show.
Looks like they're lining up. Well, they're excited.
I think I'm not a Skrull. I'm not actually sure anymore. This show really has my mind just like topsy-turvy. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to or back to the Bear and the Beard podcast. Man, it feels good to be back in this seat with you guys. I've been so busy and still am going to be busy to come. But man, it's great to see you guys, and I can't wait to talk about this show. Before we do, a few announcements and everything. Thank you to all of you that came by our table at Mid-City MicroCon in Baton Rouge. It was amazing, fun time. We got to meet a lot of new friends, got to see some old friends as well. It was very, very fun. We raised over $500 for Children's Mississippi Hospital at that one event. Some of my props. So that also helped that number go up, but really do appreciate everybody. Our next event will be next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, if you were listening to this the day it comes out, of Destin, Florida, My Hero Con. Another Humble Entertainment or Humble Enterprises event. We'll be down there. I got some decals. I got some awesome giveaway stuff. Come by the table and spin the wheel for charity. And that's it for announcements. let's get into this. I am joined, as always. Well, I'm joined as always, but I'm not always here by my majestically bearded, faithful co-host, Bearded Brian Guy, the Beard. Brosius Mayo, my guy.
Mayo Brosius, my dude. How we doing?
Doing fan-freaking-tastic, good sir.
Fan-freaking-tastic. Love that.
I love the Barbie episode. I did not watch all of it because I do not want that movie spoiled for me for some reason. But I do love that y'all got to talk about it.
There's not really spoilers for it per se. It's just a feel-good fun movie. Well, not feel-good. I mean, it is feel-good, and it's
dudes riding horses.
Deep. And, it's a lot.
I was telling someone the other day, I was like, I love the fact that we have, like, we talk about all the Batman actors like Batfleck and Battinson. Now we have Margot Barbie instead of Margot Robbie. So we'll see if that becomes a thing. That'd be really cool.
Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling. You are Knuff. All right.
I am Knuff. We are all Knuff.
And speaking of Knuff, and I'm also going to throw another one in there, Ken Mazing. We have Jay the Nerd Watch, our other co-host. Hello, good sir. How's the work on Kinky Boots going? When does that open? Tell me.
We open in 2 weeks. I'm a little stressed out.
Okay.
But I'm doing okay.
Yeah, because you're doing all the costume work, right?
Yes.
Okay. That's still amazing. And Liger told me to tell you hello. Our friend Ryan. He was at Baton Rouge. So hopefully he's listening to the show. We do have some other stuff in the works that we will talk about toward the end of the episode that we're really excited to kind of tease. We're not announcing, we're teasing.
Little tease.
So little tease. But yeah, and Jay just recently did do a full review of the new Turtles episode that will be out soon. Yes.
Yeah.
Can you tell I'm obsessed?
Just a little bit. A little bit.
You like Ninja Turtles?
The episode is out.
Oh, it is out. Okay.
The episode is on my channel now. I'm joined by our good friends Keith Cooper from Blurtish and JP Keller, who
was also at Baton Rouge.
yeah, everybody was in Baton Rouge when I wasn't. I mean, if we were all there, we could have all done it. It would have been great. But no, Keith, it was great. We had a great time. They are two really awesome guys, two big Turtles fans. So it was a really dedicated, piece that I wanted to do.
And that has also inspired the panel that we're going to do at Alabama Comic-Con, yes?
Yes, it has. I'm working right now on a rewatch of all of the cinematic releases.
Ooh.
I've gotten through the originals, which are the best.
Yes.
They are the best. And then the new one comes right after that. I'm going to stand by that for forever,
Still haven't seen it.
Good.
I have yet to see it either, but I do want to. I have been feeling the turtle fever though, because I've been playing back through Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge on the Xbox. It's a great old school style new video game that released a little while back.
Yeah.
So if you're feeling turtle envy, go get you some of that if you have a gaming system.
Dude, and it's such a great, we talk about DC, we talk about Marvel, but it is a great time to be a Turtles fan right now. Since 2018, we haven't really gotten anything. I haven't even seen Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is the latest TV show.
No, I don't think.
Yeah, but we've got Last Ronin coming as a video game on the PS5.
I did hear about that.
And I cannot wait. Oh,
it's gonna be dark.
I'm reading it right now. Yeah, I'm reading it right now. It is brutal.
Right.
Yeah. And so, and with the new movie and getting a new TV show, it's really looking good. So I can't wait to talk about it at Alabama Comic-Con.
It's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. And teasing, we are doing a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle themed cosplay at Alabama Comic-Con. So you'll have to stick around for more details or follow us on our socials for all those updates. We'll throw you some hints here and there, But today's topic is not turtle related, though we do talk about green people. Let's talk Secret Invasion, gents.
Oh my God. This show blew my mind. I didn't know who to trust, but then there honestly wasn't that many people not to trust, but the ones you couldn't trust, whoa.
Right. And okay, so when this show first got announced, I'll go ahead and get right out here in the front and go, I don't know a lot about the comic book story. Like I know a good bit, I guess, but like I didn't read it. I know the overarching plot points. Like I know half of the cliff notes, I guess is the best way to describe it. So, but I was excited to the point where when the first 5 minutes got dropped online, I went searching for that code.
That was so cool that Marvel did that, by the way, because
it was awesome.
I wish they would have done more stuff leading up to it, to kind of do that. But that was really cool. And I
They
still
just
watched
quietly
those first
were
5
like,
minutes.
we're releasing this
website. When the first episode dropped, I actually did just watch the first 5 minutes because they're a good first 5 minutes. It's very thrilling. It sets the tone for the whole show. How long do you guys think Everett Ross was a Skrull?
Okay, so here's the thing.
Martin Freeman was such a good actor in this.
so briefly. Oh my goodness. But I here's a theory that I'm kind of working with right now. I think Val is one too. I'm like 98.9% certain. So I think that they are a Skrull couple, not a human couple or a mixed race couple. They're just a Skrull couple that impersonated them in order to infiltrate the government. So I wonder if the real Val was down there too.
I'm blanking. Who's Val?
Louis Dreyfus, the head of the Thunderbolts program.
The main human protagonist from Wakanda Forever.
Okay.
His ex-wife.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is actually that's actually really good theory.
Okay.
And that also brings back to Brian's question of how long has he been a Skrull? Because would a Skrull have helped in that whole Wakanda Forever situation?
To get the information.
That's true.
Humans want that information so bad.
Skrulls know about Namor's underwater city now, if that's the case.
Yep.
Well, there's also theories that some people from Wakanda could be Skrulls.
Yeah.
Of course they could.
You never know. I mean,
I wouldn't. I don't know if I would do it narratively because it would raise too many questions.
I feel like Wakanda is secure enough that I don't think Skrulls could infiltrate.
Only Martin Freeman, though. And I think I almost want to, and I'm not saying this is a story idea, I almost feel like that's why he's in the Black Panther movie as a narrative element, because he's pretty much, besides Claw, the only prominent white character.
Yeah.
So he stands out. So it is what I'm getting at. So I think there's a reason they drew attention, because she said, you're my favorite. She calls him her favorite white boy. Sure he does.
Right.
So, there's something about him being allowed in that's going to break our hearts. And I think it's because he was trying to get weapons information.
And we also know from every MCU movie leading up to this, from Black Panther forward, that the only outsiders that have been allowed into Wakanda are aside from the Avengers during the Battle of Wakanda. We'll wipe all them off. But is Everett Ross and Killmonger. And Killmonger's dead. Oh, and Bucky. Sorry, and Bucky. Because he was there before the Battle of Wakanda. But there's no way Shuri wouldn't have found out that he was a Skrull while he was there.
That's the thing. He was injured. Remember? She was running medical tests on him.
Yeah.
So he couldn't have been a Skrull in the first one.
Yeah. So Wakanda is secure. Wakanda is secure.
Well, we don't know if Everett's been back, though.
He could have been one in the second one.
Because wasn't he their UN representative or something like that in Wakanda Forever? Like, he was their contact.
He's like the liaison. The UN representative is like Queen Ramona.
Well, yeah, sorry. He's the liaison from the American government to Wakanda.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So he... Don't know.
In that conspiracy theory scene, did you guys know who that other character was? I can't remember if they even named him.
one?
The conspiracy guy that was talking with fake
Oh,
rods.
yeah, he was named, but I can't remember it at all. He's from Game of Thrones. He has the best voice ever.
I would have loved to see
it's
more
gonna
of
bug
him.
me if I
Like
don't look
the
it
way
up.
he was like scrambling. It was.
Yes.
I loved his acting.
The redheaded dude that was talking to Sonya, that turned out to be a Skrull very towards the end with the beard. He's Vincent Van Gogh from Doctor Who.
I do remember seeing him. Yes.
Yeah. I was when he said he was going to be in it. I was like, oh my god, please be Captain Britain, but he's not. But I didn't know if you knew that, so I wanted to point it out. Yeah,
How did I miss? I remember it now, but yeah, that's Vincent Van Gogh from Doctor Who.
And he's in Thor, so I'm kind of like, he's very briefly in Thor, so yeah.
Sorry, I'm looking. His name is Agent Prescott. Prescott.
That's it. I was trying to remember. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Oh, he's been in some stuff.
Some stuff?
Yeah.
What kind of
He's
stuff
been
has he been in, Bear?
Well, he's known for Game of Thrones, Good Vibrations, Fortitude, and 71. But he was also in The Watch, the Musketeers, a bunch of. It's kind of like. Well, I don't go to the movie theaters unless it's a superhero movie, but these are movies I've watched or at least heard about and recommended. And yeah, as soon as he showed up, I was like, I don't know this character, but this dude is doing an amazing job at playing the conspiracy nut kind of character. And like, even when, so our friend of the show, Captain Sexybeard, our resident sommelier, or whatever he wants to be called this week, he sat down and watched the first episode with me the first week when it came out, and he noticed something that I didn't. He noticed how he figured out that Everett was a Skrull, and it's still not. It's a theory, but okay. I went back and watched it again, and I think it's valid. The file that he hands him could only be understood by a Skrull.
Oh, like
because when he turns on the tablet and it starts doing the hologram thing, there's like, it's very complex, which Disney's known for doing that in the MCU, making these complex holograms that people are we're just supposed to go, oh, they understand it, great, because I don't. But they hide little Easter eggs like that on us all the time. And that is a great concept for how he figured it out. It's like, because it was hidden. It wasn't on the desk. He wasn't studying it. He wasn't showing it to anyone else that would come by and listen to his crackpot theories. He went and found it, handed it to Ross, and Ross just understood it. And I like that theory. Now, whether that's true or not,
like it. I'm gonna have to rewatch it.
Yeah, rewatch the scene, because his whole demeanor changes when Ross says, "I'm gonna get this to Fury," and it's like, all this other stuff I've shown you, but that one thing,
right? Prescott Fury, right? And he was trying to sell Fury that he was in space. Remember, he was trying to sell to him that Fury was in space. Yeah. So
Which is that exact moment in the story he was. Until like 2 scenes later, and he's not. So.
And now he is again.
Yeah, but now he's again. Because he has to be up there because of the trailer for the Marvels. You know?
And that's one thing. I felt like if we didn't know the Marvels was coming out, there's a lot of moments where we could have felt like Nick was going to die in this show. Yeah. I feel like they should have waited to release the Marvels trailer until after this show had gone,
or at least
release
a trailer without him in it.
Yes.
And leave it open to interpretation.
I like that.
Yeah, there's got to be enough content in that movie without him in it. I mean, because I'm just preparing myself for the death blow. I really, based on the trailers and the stuff we've seen so far, I doubt they're touching this. I doubt they're even touching Secret Invasion in the Marvels, and it breaks my heart. I'm like, where is the continuity that we had 8 years ago.
Well, and the only thing that they'll touch is probably the fact that his wife will be there with him, and
Right.
if you didn't watch Secret Invasion, you're gonna go, "Who's that?"
Who's that?
Yeah, who's that?
I also kind of like that though, because I've been saying that Marvel should start making this stuff connected but separate enough to where you could watch a show or you could watch a movie and you don't have to watch back stuff to understand. Because for us, it's easy because we've been watching this stuff forever.
Yeah.
We just watch it as it comes out. But I have friends who have never touched Marvel and they're actually interested in it, but they don't know where to start. It's such a big thing.
Well, it depends. Do you want their origin stories? If you do, you start with phase 1. Do you want the overarching story of the Infinity Saga? Then you start with phase 2. After the Avengers.
My only thing is that the planet Earth, even in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is only so big. All of this stuff cannot be going on at the same time and no one acknowledge it at all.
Right.
Like, She-Hulk briefly talks about the giant dude in the middle of the ocean, but nothing else is even...
But what exactly do people want them to say, though? Like, just a ton of dialogue that feels out of place? Because they can do that, but then people will gripe at them for having that random dialogue that talks about, oh, hey, remember when all the Earth... Like, I think they will touch on it because of the way the show ended with people hunting down Skrulls. I think that's going to be an issue on Earth for a while. I don't think they set that up for that to be
maybe the next show goes away. The next movie will touch on the fact, like, this happened and now this is happening.
I mean,
I am hopeful that the Marvels, and this is one thing that will disappoint me with the Marvels if it doesn't come through, I think it is going to pick up from this, and I think this sets it up because I think the Skrulls still do need to find a home. I mean, we see Skrulls in the trailer, and so I do think it is still continuing. Like, Fury still wants to help them despite them all coming to Earth and taking over.
My only thing, and here's the thing, and this is what I think personally, what they could have done, because it's clear, and this is not a spoiler because it's a rumor or a theory, but possible if it happens. But the island of Tiamat, the big Eternal, is supposed to play a big pivotal role in Captain America 4 for some reason. Finally, and Thunderbolts. We're fine. Okay, so those movies fall into the same category as Secret Invasion. The espionage, grounded, spy thriller kind of stuff. Yeah. The Skrulls could have been hiding out on Tiamat.
Yeah.
They could have done that, and that way there's a through line.
I did love the fact that they were hiding at Chernobyl, though.
I did too.
I loved that. Cool. Like, just where else can they survive? Oh, the only place on Earth that humans can't.
And it played a role in the finale with how Gaia tricked Gravik. So they used it very well. I'm not necessarily complaining.
But they still could have. Yes. Yeah. I was just getting the HBO Chernobyl show vibes. Yeah. Like the whole time I was watching those scenes. I'm like, oh man, this is just
good
awesome.
Great show.
Great show.
I know some people are complaining about that fight, but the only problem I have with it... What?
I said it was so cool.
Yeah, no. I thought it was
great. Froze up for a second. What'd you say?
I said
it was a cool fight. I had one problem with it though, and it was just a momentary issue when she flexes her Drax arm and the Drax arm has tattoos.
Okay.
Tattoos isn't part of his power. What?
Okay.
Not just that, her head is massive and that arm is tiny.
Well, I think it's supposed to fit them to a degree. I mean, it still looked cool the way she flexed it, though.
Oh yeah, it's a little the tattoos are a little why.
Tattoos aren't part of his power. You're just supposed to have his ability.
Unless it's
or his DNA. Yeah.
Unless it's not tattoos, unless it's markings. I mean, it could be bodily. Does he say they're tattoos?
I thought they were tattoos. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure.
Okay.
I could be wrong about that. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think they're tattoos in the comic books. That's why I'm asking. Okay.
In the comics, he does it to himself. I don't think we ever get an explanation of what they are in the MCU. But here's my defense of that. Drax is so similarly colored to Hulk that if she had just flexed a green arm, we would have not known which power she was flexing. That was literal fan service. Like, hey, we want you to know she's not punching him with the power of Hulk. She's punching him with the power of Drax. It was literally fan service. That's all that was to me. But there again, there were other powers that are also not genetic, like Mantis's whole ability was. Oh yeah, she could have just done it without the antenna. Like she could have just told her. So I think that whole like her changing her body to match the characters. But and here's the other thing. They're shapeshifters. So them, even if one of them knew that Drax had those red tattoos, they replicate what they see.
Oh, that's okay. So I didn't think about that because I was thinking, why can't humans get these powers? It's specific to Skrulls because they can change. They can
adapt their body to
and
mimic
so that's
the power.
why I think that defends her having the Mantis.
It does.
It defends all of it actually.
Sorry.
The only thing I have to say about it is I was watching a video that said they are hopeful that they can only use 4 powers at a time and that it's not to the degree that the original person has the ability. Because otherwise, Gaia is the most powerful person we have in the MCU.
Yes.
As far as like, other than Celestials and all that stuff, that's...
Skrulls, even in the comics, couldn't replicate the powers to 100% capability.
But and the whole thing with her being so powerful goes right back to continuity. Like, what are you going to do now? She's so powerful. Are you going to use her? And if they don't, how are people going to feel about it?
If they don't use her at all, or address it, or like do anything with her at all, I'm going to have beef with that.
I will say
now she's the only Super Skrull.
Well, right, and I will say that, and this is, I want to say one thing real quick because we were talking about, the tattoos and how they're not part of his DNA or his superpower. Okay, so we got to look at the comic book Super Skrulls too, and Ben Grimm's superpower isn't rock. Ben Grimm's superpower is strength and invulnerability, and yet when the Super Skrull impersonates Ben Grimm, he does take on the orange rock. He does. So it is something that has comic book basis. They weren't just doing it to do it.
But since the Fantastic Four have not been introduced into the MCU, they had to use other people, mostly the Guardians.
Right, but it was so clever because, you've got the Frost Beast who's kind of like invisibility. You've got Groot who let him stretch. The Hulk is strength. Drax is strength. So they kind of did the Fantastic Four's powers without doing it. Because Extremis is...
Human Torch was Captain Marvel, Mantis was Invisible Woman, Groot was Mr. Fantastic, and Drax was the Thing. Yeah.
But they did a lot more than just 4 powers, though. I think that they can use 4 at a time, but and although they have not said in the MCU that they can only use 4 powers at a time, but also going back, I don't think I ever saw her use more than 4 at a time.
Yeah.
I don't think so either.
Also, do you guys just when Fury was telling the story, and it's a great thing, like of course they would want to get the DNA from the Avengers after the battle, but just picture a team of Skrulls collecting DNA from a huge battlefield that had thousands of people fighting on it. That had that's got to be the weirdest. I just imagine them with like little dustpans. Like
how many corrupted samples had too much Chitauri blood on them?
Yeah, how do you know?
Like it had to be so weird to picture that.
Yeah, I agree. That's so funny.
Yeah, that was a little whack. Now I will say, because this is something interesting I saw somebody talk about the other day, and I do want to point out that I didn't have all of this as a theory, but I had half of it as a theory halfway through the show. But Sonya Falsworth, Olivia Colman, who is the head of MI6, the British agent that Nick
Loved
knows.
her.
She's great. She's great.
Sonya?
I don't think she's human either, but I don't think she's a Skrull. I think she's a Kree.
Really?
Yeah. Because she tells Gaia we can make this planet safe for both our people, but it's already safe for humans. I think she's a Kree.
For those of y'all just listening to this, my eyes just got so freaking big because I didn't think about that.
Because my original theory about this was that they were going to turn this on its head and it was going to be Kree hiding out, not Skrulls.
See,
So I think it's both. I think because they say in No Way Home that there are, or in Far From Home, that there are Kree sleeper cells on Earth.
Yes.
How does he know that? I'm telling you, she's a Kree, and I think she might actually be like their current ruler.
that's possible. I could see that. Well, I saw that as like because the tensions between Skrulls and humans are
That's
now
true.
very high.
True.
It's not safe for either of them. The humans feel threatened by the Skrulls because they don't know who to trust. That's why
Yes.
they're raging out like maniac idiot
That poor prime
dummies.
minister.
Another
That
thought.
scene was hard to watch
Yeah.
when the
It
people were
was.
just
Hey.
hunting off the Skrulls.
It's
It was
going to start happening because people are going to start thinking that's really going on.
Another thought, based off that theory. What if she's a mutant? And
Who?
what if
Yeah.
Sonya.
Yeah.
what if she's a mutant and she's just not one of the ones that we know about? And
It's possible.
that's her thing. And the whole hunting down of the Skrulls leads to the divisiveness between humans and mutants. And that's how they introduce that struggle. Because we discussed this in our fan casting the MCU
Okay.
episode. They can't keep using the same story, especially with the way they're going to have to introduce those characters now. It can't be Magneto representing Malcolm X and Professor Xavier. It can't be. It can be a civil rights thing. It can't be World War II.
Right.
Can't.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then she could be a mutant that is hiding in the government. And that could be that's another way.
I have been saying that if they're gonna they are gonna bring mutants in, obviously.
Yeah.
But I've always said that I think that they should have always been here, because if they just bring them in from another universe or something, it feels like it'd be clunky and weird.
I gotta say, I think what President Ritson just did actually set the stage for them to be new and for people to absolutely hate them. I think this is all set up for, because people have been saying for years, you've got the Hulk, you've got this. How do you make the mutants
hated?
How do you make people afraid of them? They know
because they love superpowered
same
people.
thing, buddy.
They do what they're doing in real life. They make one group the target of everything, and they just throw it at them so much. And there's a president in power that's going to throw it at them so much that it's going to solely be an American issue, I think, not a global issue. And that
Couldn't
America
you just see the press conference where it's like, new studies have shown that mutants are just the products of Skrulls mating with humans.
Right. There's going to be conspiracy about the mutants. It's going to be very reflective of 2023 and what's going on right now, just like comics have been forever.
Exactly.
But honestly, I think that's the final straw that breaks the camel's back, what Ritson did.
Yes.
Because the Marvels set that up too, because we know now, and some people don't like the change, but she is a mutant. She's a mutant.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And so they've already set up in that show that the government, at the very least, or the Department of Damage Control, have issue with superpowered people.
They
see them all as they see them immediately as a threat, and they're persecuting them.
Right.
And so we already see the beginning of that parallel, and we saw it in Far From Home, or not Far From Home.
No Way Home.
No Way Home. And now we see it here, like the government and damage control and all of the systems in place. Hell, we saw it in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. The way the governments are working, they're all going against the heroes.
Right. They want heroes, but they want them under their thumb.
Exactly. If you're not following our weapon. Hell, this started in Iron Man 2 and they wanted Iron Man's freaking suit.
Yep. And we continued on into Civil War with the Sokovia Accords.
Yep. And don't even get me started on going out of the frying pan and into the fire when Ritson gets out of office and Ross replaces him. That's even worse.
Yeah.
That's like... Yes, that is like if we... Yeah, that's going to be... Yeah, it's going to be destructive. Oh. He's going to turn the world on them.
We're going to need a hero.
Yeah!
I loved having Samuel L. Jackson back.
Yes.
They did, and look, Disney's learning from all of their quote unquote mistakes, because Disney doesn't make mistakes, but like all the hate that the deep fake got for Mandalorian for Luke, they have been working on this to make sure that when Samuel L. Jackson needed to look young, he looked young.
Well, they had that down back in Captain Marvel, though.
To say, and once you use that software and you've paid to make it, it's in your files. They didn't have to pay anything to de-age him this go round. They already had that.
They had the slide. It looked very much just like. I mean, it would because it takes place after Captain Marvel.
Exactly. It cost them nothing. Yeah.
But speaking of Captain Marvel, I love how far Talos and Fury have come, because when they're first meeting, he's got a gun to his head.
Ben Mendelsohn rocks, y'all. He's my favorite Australian.
And now they have
my favorite. He was my favorite thing from that Ready Player One movie.
They have this really close friendship now, and even though they irritate the shit out of each other, they love each other. You can tell they are best friends.
Yes, they are best friends.
That's why it sucked when Talos died.
Speaking of other best friends, can we talk about how they brought my girl back just to have her die?
Oh, I hated that death so much. I was waiting for her to be a Skrull. That was so unacceptable.
And the fact that Gravik put on Nick Fury's face to do it.
Yep,
it speaks volumes.
I'll go this far as just a whole thing against. And I love the MCU. They have underutilized Mariah Hill severely.
Yeah.
Every time she's on screen, people love her, but we don't get a lot of her. And now there's a show where we can actually get a lot of her, and you kill her off. And I get that it sets some stakes for Fury, but when we get to the ratings later, I'm taking off a whole point just for underutilizing Mariah Hill. A whole point.
She was my favorite, probably one of my favorite parts of Winter Soldier. I know that our show started long after that movie came out, but I do want to go back and like talk about like the MCU as it stands one day, like even if it's like little mini-sodes or something, because she was a vital part of Captain America Winter Soldier, which is still my favorite of the trilogy, of the Cap trilogy, and we got to see her in action. And that was kind of the last time we got to see her in action.
Yeah.
You know. So, and then she comes back in this show, just first episode, gone.
Yeah.
You know? I was like, no.
I could have used more Gravik. Like, he was awesome when he was on screen, but for being the villain, I could have used a little bit more of him.
I'm not saying that they shouldn't, like, I wonder if he auditioned or if they even thought about having him audition for Kang. Because he's got that demented ruler mentality. And I think don't get me wrong, Jonathan Majors, amazing Kang the Conqueror, amazing The One That Remains. And I can't wait to see more. But I hope that they at least thought about this guy. And maybe that's when they were like, no, we can't have him be Kang. Let's have him be Gravik.
Well, look at Chuckawuchi from Guardians Volume 3. I mean, that performance as the High Evolutionary could be. Like, again, people are like, man, underused. I'm like, well, what if they just make him a Kang variant? And again, if legal things if legal things turn out bad, either one of these two could be Kang variants that take the mantle from Jonathan Majors. So,
I don't think the actor who plays Gravik would necessarily be a good Kang, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. I think Kang and Gravik are very different characters.
Mm-hmm.
Kang wants to rule. He has that pompous, I am better because I am smarter kind of, I am a freaking god.
Gravik wants to be a force to be reckoned with. There's a
Gravik is just he wants, most of his life has been on Earth. He was a kid when he came to Earth.
Right.
And so he has these stories of what the Skrulls are supposed to be. They're these warriors. And he's disappointed, and he's also he feels like he could have relied on Fury, and he feels like he was let down. So he is just an angry, bitter, broken person, or Skrull, not person, but. And so I feel like his story is more tragic. He's a kind of more tragic villain, whereas Kang is just evil for the sake of being evil.
Yes.
And him showing that power, that like when he walks into that council chamber.
Oh yeah.
And he's just sitting at the table, and even on the way in, when he hands Gaia the gun, is like, if I'm not out in what did he say? Like, if I'm not out in 2 hours, shoot this one in the head.
Yes.
It's like, dude, like, you're supposed to be reporting to your higher ups, and he already, like, he walked in suave, man. Like, and I loved every minute of it. He did an amazing job. Such a good scene.
You could feel like the anger and the pain when he was like yelling and like killing his people. Like, he wasn't thinking clearly at all. He wants to help his people, yet he's killing them out of just blind rage. He is not a stable person. He's just an unstable, broken lunatic.
He's got a lot of greater good mentality. He's got a lot of greater good mentality.
Yes.
Yeah. It's that your sacrifice will not be in vain if you stand up to me and stand in my way of my greater good, then you have to be removed.
Yep.
So you want to talk about Rhodey?
We don't talk about Rhodey. No. But yes, I do want to talk about Rhodey. That's really our last big topic, other than like favorite scenes, is Rhodey that we haven't touched on yet. Oh,
I hated that it was directed at Fury, but I loved the sass that fake Rhodey gave Fury when he was firing him.
I during that whole thing, and I know we didn't know that he was a Skrull, but me and my mom, I mean, everybody did, right? They were like, this is the big reveal. And I'm like, no, it's not. We all kind of knew this. But anyway, when he was talking to him in that scene, I looked at Mom, I said, I wonder if that Skrull's a woman. And then it was. I was like, the sass, that's gotta be a woman. And then it was. Yeah.
I'm with you. Like, I loved it. Like, I've quoted the drink scene.
Oh, it's
with
so
friends
good.
of mine. Like, because, and it goes back to an old episode of ours. If you really want to deep dive back into our catalog, please go and find the episode called Drunken Heroes that we did with Captain Sexybeard, and we talked about what Nick Fury's drink of choice was. And Captain Sexybeard said some high-end Scotch, bourbon, or whiskey. And what does this dude do? In show, pulls out a $5,000 bottle of straight Pappies.
Yep.
23 years age, tells Rhodey, I don't care what you want to believe about poison, but if you waste a drop of that, your ancestors will crawl out of their graves and strangle you.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about back to that Drunken Heroes episode. I want Captain Sexybeard's reaction when he sees that scene.
We got to put a clip right here. We got to go cut it from the episode and put it here.
Yeah, agreed. Yep. Here's the right here. I'll put it right here. Here is the ancestors will choke you scene right here. We were talking about.
Pappy, You outdid yourself on this one.
This the real thing?
$5,000 worth of 24-karat liquid gold.
Should I be worried about poison?
Poison? No. What, the nano trackers?
Nanotracker. Then maybe I should pour this out and make myself a fresh one.
You do whatever makes you feel comfortable.
Like, dude,
He called it.
Yep.
He called it.
Look at that.
I was afraid. Like, I was afraid for Rhodey. Because at that point, I was like, I already know he's a Skrull, but damn, like...
When look, and let me tell you, everybody's like, Daredevil's gonna get ruined on Disney Plus. Well, guess what Nick Fury has to say? A bullet between Rhodes's eyes. I was like, what?
Yep.
I just saw that. Like, I saw that on the camera. Oh my god, yeah, Daredevil's gonna be hard. I can't wait.
Marvel can get dark, and they're
Right.
starting to dive into it.
Right. Yeah, I'm glad Disney is letting them. You know, that's something I've wanted for a while. So good on them.
And they also have, but they also have the sentimental moments, which
Yeah.
like we're gonna talk more about Rhodey at a future time because we already did it off of recording of like where could he have been, how far. Well, I promise we'll make that a conversation, but we will fill up the rest of our time. I want to talk about, y'all talked about how they got dark. I want to talk about how they got light. Let's talk about Gaia and Talos.
Oh,
This whole convincing her to be the mole within, Gravik's society that he's building was amazing. Having her join the MCU was an amazing choice. Like, she pulls off the role very well, and we even get the scenes where it's like, hey, I know that I'm an alien that came to Earth many, many years ago, and I might have put my trust in the wrong people, blah, 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 all of that stuff. But all of that aside, you're my daughter, and I care about you, and I don't want you to get hurt. It's like, what? Like, dude, do you know, like, I get it. The stakes are huge in this show, and there needs to be, like, that human quality. But, damn, it pulled my heartstrings every time.
Brilliant. Yep. It's brilliant. They made them more human than many of the people characters.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
And like in the scene where Talos is injured, but he's still trying to help the president, and that one character goes to shoot him, and Nick's like, no, he's with me. He's a friend. You leave him alone.
That was a hard, because Gravik did not like Talos. We know that.
No.
But he didn't kill Talos to kill Talos. He killed Talos to kill Talos in front of Fury.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that was just he's so vindictive.
And then when he's called on it later, like, you had an opportunity to take out Fury as well, but you didn't take it. Why not? And then he just kills the dude that questions him. Like, I don't need your sass. Like,
yeah.
Well, and then Gaia gave that line to Gravik that, are you the savior of the Skrulls, or are you our biggest threat? Or something.
Yep.
I'm paraphrasing. I didn't say it perfectly, but that is true. He is the biggest threat to the Skrulls.
Yep.
Yep.
At least now. At one time it was the Kree. But...
Exactly.
Talking about other really fun scenes that kind of showed like the emotional side, them on the train.
Yes.
The whole, do you want to know how me and my mother used to get through these train rides? She would tell me, tell me something I don't know. Like, be like a game, but she'd already know.
Yeah.
And then like that was like, you could see the emotion in Fury's face when he's like, why didn't you tell me any of this?
And we know they were in contact because back in No Way Home, Talos had called Fury on Sword?
Saber.
Saber is the base run by Sword in the comic books. Okay, now I don't know that we actually have a Sword organization right now.
In WandaVision, didn't we?
Right, but the director got arrested.
Yeah, so I don't know if they're still a thing, but Saber exists, and that's
Yeah.
enough.
Okay.
So,
I forgot what my point was.
sword protects space, shield protects Earth.
Homeland, yeah.
Yeah.
Strategic.
Oh, I
homeland.
remember what my point was. So he called him when he was up in space and he hung up on him. So we know that if 1 million Skrulls came to Earth, he knows that's information that Fury should know, and he withheld
Yes.
that. Like, we know
Yeah.
that they have gotten this bond to become friends, but they're also colleagues. So like there was no excuse for Talos not to tell him.
I
Right.
agree.
Last really sweet, and it was a bunch of scenes, just the relationship between these two.
Oh, Vara.
All
I
right.
mean,
The
Priscilla,
the
right? That was her fake name.
yeah,
Yes.
the coming into the house, putting back on the wedding ring thing.
Oh. Yeah.
The reveal at
That
Fury's
gave me
grave.
big, like Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Yes.
When
And
he
then
came
the
home and like,
Yeah.
Yep. That's exactly.
Coming home and being like, "Hey, honey. Hi, honey. How are you?"
he came home and they're like on opposite ends, like they both have the guns pointed at you. It gave off very Mr. and Mrs. Smith vibes. Like they love each other. You can
What
tell
did
they
he
love each other,
say?
but they're also like willing to fight.
Yep.
What did Fury say? He said, "I don't know if this means we need a divorce
Or to renew our wedding
or to
vows.
renew our wedding vows." It was
Yeah,
a
'cause they
great
shot, but they
line.
didn't shoot each other.
Yeah.
I loved that.
It was great.
And the
then-
reveal at his grave that he knew the whole time. He was just waiting for her to tell him, because he tells the director, the MI6 director, Miss Sonia, the Skrulls like it cold, after he told her that they had honeymooned in wherever it was, Poland or whatever, Finland. It was one of those European countries.
Right.
He's like, I have these everywhere,
I love how he loved her for being, or like loved that she was a Skrull, but she always kind of wondered, as any Skrull would wonder, would he love me for my true face? And that gave me very Mystique X-Men vibes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm not conventional to your human means. Can you
Right.
still love me with my true face? And then we got that we were talking about warm fuzzy scenes. That last scene where they kiss, I loved that so much because he didn't answer the question when she asked, but he knew his answer. He loved her.
I mean, he answered it in the most Nick Fury way possible, I think, and he answered it honestly. I guess we'll never know, because that's the truth. We'll never know because we can't go back and change it. But also, I love that scene too, the final kiss, because it's like, but that's not the question you should have asked. It's, do you still love me? That's the question she should have asked. She asked a question that couldn't be answered, and he answered it the best way he knew how. I guess we'll never know. But it was very dramatic. Like, he's walking out, he stops, he kind of comes back, and it's like, Nick Fury, and then like leaves again. It's like, it was so well done. Their whole relationship was well done.
I agree.
I also like when Gaia got to meet Vara, and they had, I can't remember what their conversation was about, but it was a nice conversation. Immediately abrupted by action and gunfire. Right. And the way they both just swooped into action and were ready. I think that's one of my favorite fight scenes in the whole show, is Gaia and Vara fighting off the Skrulls that are attacking the task force.
I have to agree. Yeah, I have to agree.
Yeah.
It was so well done. And then the line after that Nick gives, he's like, she's like, I handled it. He's like, yeah, but I know you can, but you shouldn't have to. Like, and she's like, I'm a big girl. I can take care of myself. And it's true. Like, and that was really, really cool.
Yeah.
It was such a good show.
Great. Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I will say one thing I would change about this show is in this scene where Ritson had a gun on Fury. He shoots the Skrull, but I think in that moment he should have shot Ritson too. After what Ritson did, yeah,
At least knock him back out, because as we know, Nick had a trank gun. We didn't know that, through the whole scene until that one shot where it's revealed that he's actually shooting trank darts. And this makes me dislike, because
Wait, didn't he shoot Rhodey?
Who?
I thought Fury shot fake Rhodey.
He did.
Yeah, but he got the gun from somewhere else, I think. I can't remember. Okay. But it wasn't this weapon that's in his hand right here. That was the trank gun. Yeah. Okay. That was the trank gun. And again, I don't know how many times we've actually seen this president. Guns? Maybe.
Do they I don't know.
Or maybe he just had one stashed, for all we know. It is Fury. It's Fury. He doesn't go in without a backup plan.
I don't have a photo of it, but I love the scene when he just plops a chair in front of the hospital room and then just sits there like, I am a one-man army.
You know what other franchise that really made me think about, like, in the moment when I saw that scene?
What's that?
The Olympus Has Fallen franchise with Gerard Butler.
Yeah.
Like, it had a lot of Olympus Has Fallen president bodyguard, like, kind of mentality in that one scene. And I was like, this is how you do a one-man army kind of show. It's very Jack Reacher. It's very, very Olympus Has Fallen kind of mentality. It was very well done, because for all I know, in real life, if something like that were to happen, the only person if you're one person and you just happen to bring the president into the hospital, that's probably your job at that point. And it was very, very well done.
Yep. I think.
And then Brody shows up and he gets a gun to his face.
Yeah. Sam Jackson also really channels some Pulp Fiction in this, and I
very
thought
much
fun too. That they let him kind of be funny and be goofy. It was real fun.
You know about your detail, right? How they're actually green guys from space.
Right.
And kudos to Don Cheadle for pulling off Confused.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, are you serious?
It's like, was
not only are you confused, you're fake part. Confused. So he pulled off fake confused very well.
And you're acting it. It's fake.
Yep. Oh man.
An actor playing a.
Well, it always the example I always go back to is it's who is it? It's Miss Bellum Carter playing Hermione playing Bellatrix Lestrange. Like that's the opus of character acting that I think once you hit that, you're golden in my book, because she didn't just get to play Bellatrix, she had to play Hermione playing Bellatrix. And if you want to go deeper than that, she had to pretend to be Emma Watson pretending to be Hermione Granger, who was also pretending to be Bellatrix Lestrange.
Yeah.
So like it's the opus of character, acting, I feel like, and if you reach that, you've made it. Good. So Don Cheadle did a great job in this. He got close. He's not quite there, but he did a great job.
I agree.
I will say the first moment I suspected he might be a Skrull was when he talked about was it bombing a country or something if they mouthed off to him? I can't remember. In the first one of those first scenes we see Rhodey and he's like
he says if France cuts me off one more time, I'm a carpet bomb. I'm gonna put the suit on a carpet bomb this place.
That's horrible.
It's good. It's
that
good.
Horrible.
And see, I felt like that was just pure Don Cheadle.
Yep, it is. And here's the thing. Compare what he does in Falcon and the Winter Soldier to this, and consider that he's nominated for a Daytime Emmy for one of these things, for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, not for Secret Invasion.
I don't understand. Secret Invasion.
I don't understand why he was nominated for an Emmy for
I don't either.
But Secret Invasion, although I loved it, and I'm assuming from your guys' conversation, you guys loved it too.
Yes.
It's actually not doing well with audiences. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I am not a comic expert. Like, I don't read a whole lot of comics. And so I don't know the basis for this story. And the biggest issue people have with any Marvel project is basing it too much on the comics. They have expectations of what they know has happened in the comics, and they want to see it get as close to that in the movies. And I wholeheartedly disagree. I say, as long as they're telling a good story, show it to me. It doesn't have to be like, it can have the same name.
Yeah.
Adapt it. Yeah.
Adapt it and tell me a good story. That's the only two things that I ask that you do.
Now,
because
on top
I
of,
personally wouldn't want a frame by frame.
Yeah, no, me neither. Now, on top of that, I will say, if you're watching this and you're like, Beard, what the heck? I really love those comics, so I can be disappointed in the show. You can be disappointed.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with your expectations being down because they did not meet what you wanted. You can feel that way. But getting angry about it or getting toxic about it or acting like this show is not good because it wasn't what you expected, that is very small thinking. Based on what the show is supposed to be, what it was promised to be, I think it met every expectation.
I need y'all to see the new Turtles movie so y'all can see what people are saying and understand how absolutely ridiculous it is.
People aren't liking it?
You're going to watch a movie made by Seth Rogen about 4 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. What did you think was going to happen?
But it goes beyond that, and I'm not ripping anybody in particular because I'm on Reddit every day and I see the people. It's no one in particular. It's just a mindset of you're literally hating on things this franchise has done before. Like every change they made in the new Turtles movie has been done to some extent within the franchise's 40-year history. Yeah. Please don't be upset that Seth Rogen pulled from every version.
They're evolving. That's what they're.
Yeah, it's a brand new audience.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's what they do.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Like, and to your point, Beard. Like, I know we talked about this off recording, but I'll bring it up here. Like, okay, I'm obviously a huge fan of Captain America. Right. I know and I said this at the beginning of the episode that I know a bit about the storyline. I know that Cap was the first one to be revealed that was a member of the Avengers to be a Skrull. So, and that might not be the case in the actual comics, but I know that in most of forms of the cartoon media where they do Secret Invasion, that is true.
Right.
So, because he's the one that infiltrates, because he's the easiest one to impersonate. So, and also like his whole death in the comics and all that. So, would I have liked Chris Evans, because he has said on social media that Cap's story is not done, to have made an appearance? Yeah, I would have loved it. Was it necessary for the show? No. The show was amazing. It was great. And you had the same point about Hulk and She-Hulk.
Yeah, She-Hulk. So I'm a big Hulk fan. Surprise, surprise. And I mentioned this. I can't remember if it was when Jay and I did the after show or when we did an actual episode.
Right.
But I had made a point that I had high expectations based on myself. I made these expectations for myself that I was getting Mark Ruffalo every single episode. I thought I was going to get some of his story stretched out in She-Hulk's story. And that got me really excited. And of course, that didn't happen because it wasn't his show.
Except in the last episode where he shows up with his son.
Like, they set some stuff up for him. And we did get some Mark Ruffalo story out of it. But it wasn't his story. And so I was a little disappointed. And there's nothing wrong with feeling disappointed. I was like, I'm bummed out. And feeling bummed out, that's valid. But to go online and hate on it and drag it down as if it's some horrible thing because your expectations didn't come true, I think that's very short-sighted. Take your expectations out of the mix, watch it free of any expectations or judgment, and see how you enjoy it as what it's supposed to be.
Yes.
As viewers, it's all subjective anyway.
Yep.
100%.
Yep.
But and I can understand that as a critic, it tends to be more objective because you're looking at how something is made, how something is written, how the effects are. That's different. But for people like us who are watching and just consuming media, it's all subjective, and to really and I'm not, I don't know, again, I don't know this dude from Adam, but I've been having like a 3-day back and forth with somebody about turtles again, and I'm just like, dude, I am just stating my opinion, and it's not even a back and forth. It's me commenting on a post, and he singles my comment out just to complain. Yeah. And I'm like, why do you got to do that? It's subjective. You don't have to like it. I don't. I can love it.
My response, and we talked about this before recording. My response to all the people that said this is the worst show that Disney Plus has put out for the MCU and all that. Right. Okay, because it wasn't based off the comic books. Okay, all right.
Did you say that about every other show?
Tell me why you liked Infinity War and Endgame so much then. Because that's the thing that you're comparing everything to. Like, well, it's not Endgame. It's not Endgame. Endgame was a complete fabrication based off a few facts from the comic books. Let's talk about the fact that Thanos never had an actual reason for wanting the stones other than to be supreme ruler of the universe and impress his girlfriend. I mean, the fact that they gave Thanos a protagonist level reason to need the stone, to want the stones or whatever, to the point where people are agreeing with him. Like, I agree with Thanos. Okay, guess what? Not comic book accurate at all. In any form of media, that is not why Thanos wanted the stones.
No.
But why is Infinity War and Endgame the highest grossing, quote unquote, best Marvel movies? Because you liked the story they told.
You liked the inaccuracy.
Yeah.
And again, if you didn't like it because it didn't do what it did in the comics, you can feel that way. But that's not how the conversation typically goes. Typically, it's someone talking about how much they enjoy something, and someone has to come in and rain on their parade saying, no, I didn't like it because in the comics. And as soon as I hear because in the comics, I just tune you out. I don't care. Yeah. If I'm saying that I like something and your immediate response every time someone says that they like something is to tell them how horrible it is because of your opinion, that's toxic. It just is. You can feel that way, and you feeling that way is valid. You cannot like it. But when you downgrade someone else's experience, they enjoyed something and you're bringing it down, that is toxicity.
But isn't the whole point, and correct me if I'm wrong, isn't the whole point of this 13-year cinematic universe to make it to where there is a Marvel story that is accessible without general audiences having to pick up gosh darn comic books?
Not everyone's a reader.
We've said it countless times.
But not everybody.
All the Marvel episodes we've ever done, I constantly come back to this point. When they started with Robert Downey Jr. in that Iron Man suit back all those years ago, they never, ever said this is going to be 100% comic book accurate.
We're telling Infinity Gauntlet first, and that's what we're doing.
They only promised one thing. The characters will feel like they do in the comic books. Yeah, that's all they ever said.
I think
it was also the only reason why I was like, because y'all know me, I'm kind of a stickler for source material sometimes. That one movie that we don't talk about by M. Night Shyamalan, the 3 Hobbit movies, these are all, we've done a whole episode on it. Go check it out. Stick to the source material. It's back on season 1. I'm a stickler for that when it's necessary. But as soon as I found out that the Marvel Cinematic Universe is very loosely based on the Ultimates universe and all of these other things over these massive years of comic creation from Marvel, and they're just going, hey, we're going to tell some stories. The characters are going to like the characters, and some of it's going to be comic book accurate, but not every time, and not all the time.
Yeah, this isn't the comic books. It's the MCU.
And this is the problem. And I agree with the actress who plays Miss Marvel. She says she has a problem with Kevin Feige trying to shove it to everyone that this is Marvel 616. It is not 616. And
No.
anyone, and I think that's people's problem, is they're drawing from comic 616, and so they need to be as close to that as possible because it has to be 616. I say the comic universe exists in the multiverse of the MCU. That's my headcanon.
Yes.
It's not been confirmed by anything, but I think this universe is its own universe within the multiverse that story that you want exists. I think somewhere in the multiverse, everything you want exists somewhere. This is just a different story.
It would have to be, because if it was an adaptation of 616 from the comic books, it would be just like the comic books.
They don't call it 616 as if it's the same universe as 616. It's like MCU 616
Everybody,
is what it is. But it shouldn't be.
Right, exactly. And most people that are pissed off that it's not, 1199, and not us, of course. I'm with you both. It should be its own separate continuity because that should be the answer to casting whoever fits the role best, is that it's another universe. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't be mad that this is 616, or you can't be mad that this isn't 11999 and be mad that a character is race swapped. It's not the same universe.
Yep.
This is not the comic books, just like you've said. So I can make Reed Richards Dev Patel if Dev Patel can play this role very well.
The MCU stands alone.
Yes. It is not
The
comic-
MCU is its own thing.
I know this was Sony, not Disney, that did this, but I'm taking it as confirmation when Miguel called it Earth 199999 or whatever. I'm taking that as confirmation.
One
It's not
repeating
616.
Yeah. Earth 1 repeating 9.
I can't remember the exact number of nines he said, but
Exactly. And you have to think about it. Go back to the word subjective. Think about where 838 fits within the multiverse. In her perspective, the MCU very well could be 616. But not in everybody else's perspective, because everybody else has a different place in the multiverse. It all goes in different directions. There is no real singular numbering system. There isn't.
Until
Because
we
the
get
Web of Life
confirmation
and
from Feige, and
Yeah.
even then, it'll be like he'll probably be like, well, it's based loosely off multiple different universes.
Right. But
We're
think
telling
about-
all the stories. Just let us
Yeah,
tell the stories.
Exactly. And then the Web of Life and Destiny in Spider-Verse, you have to look at it that way too. It excludes any universe that doesn't have a spider character. It is its own multiverse solely of universes that have a spider hero in New York City or in some form of their universe. That's it.
and in most of those universes, Spider-Man is the only hero in New York.
Yep.
Like
Exactly, which is why Doctor Strange was kind of a problem for Miguel, because he's a superhero in New York.
Yep.
He was an anomaly from his it's all about perspective from a perspective.
Don't even get me started on Strange.
Yeah, that kid. Yep.
Well, guys, other than just great action scenes, great storytelling, great espionage, it was very Cloak and Dagger. I loved this show. I found no complaints.
I have a
other than them
couple.
killing Mariah Hill.
I don't like them killing Mariah, but honestly, my complaint I have about Mariah is the same complaint I have for most of the show. I feel like a lot of characters were underused. I could have used more Gaia. I still don't feel like I know her very well as a character. I love that she was in this, and I love what I got from her, but I need more of her personal story. Like, I don't know what kind of person she is, because she was very, like, on mission. And you can't really get to know a character when they're on mission. She was on mission this whole show.
She was a plot device. 100%.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm so glad she's the last one, like, that we know about anyway.
Right.
It's helpful.
Well,
yeah, I guess I could see that too. Like, even Everett was a little underutilized.
As I say for most of these Marvel shows, they can all stand to use another episode or two. I think. But I still appreciate what I get. Like they tell the story that they were meant to tell, and I was entertained. I looked forward every single Wednesday for another episode to drop, as I do with all these shows. Watch it as soon as I can. Like I'm hooked. MCU's got me hooked.
Well, Star Wars has me hooked too.
That too, yeah.
So, Ahsoka starts next Wednesday, and I cannot wait.
It starts next Wednesday. I've only watched 6 episodes of Rebels.
Oh,
I am not going to watch that show before I watch Ahsoka.
my mother and I have not. I've watched Rebels, but she hasn't. So I'm kind of like breaking it down. I'm
going to have to watch some YouTube videos where people kind of break down Ahsoka's story,
like the recaps. Yeah.
Yep.
We don't have any talking nerdy stuff this week, but I do have a question I want to ask. You want to get into that real quick?
Okay.
Before we do our ratings, let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Each episode, the Bear and the Beard ask a question that they want your input on, along with sharing comments, suggestions, and other things they have already collected. They love to hear from their fans, so let's get nerdy with it.
All right. So, like I said, we don't have any because it's just been so long since we've done one of these segments. But we do hope to bring this back. I have a question I want to ask, and I want to ask you two first, and of course, I want everyone that's listening or watching to chime in. Give me your top 3 people not shown in Secret Invasion that you think are Skrulls.
Do I have to actually think they're Skrulls, or can it just be for comedy?
I mean, if it's for comedy, please tell me that it's comedy. But I really, because this show really got me thinking, like, if Rhodey could have been a Skrull, and we said we talk about the whole where was Rhodey thing later. But if he really is how far back we think they pulled him, who else could be a Skrull? That's what it got me thinking about, and that's my question to you too. What's your top 3 or 1, whichever, but top 3 if you got it, people in the MCU you think are Skrulls right now that were not featured in Secret Invasion?
I can't remember his name, but that dick officer from the Department of Damage Control that was in No Way Home,
yes,
and was in Miss Marvel.
Yep.
I'm gonna say he's a Skrull. Why not?
Okay. Yeah, no, that's really good. He wasn't on my list. He should have been. I think J. Jonah is a Skrull.
Ooh, fun.
That could work.
I think J. Jonah is a Skrull. I think that though we know he must exist. I'm guessing, maybe, possibly. I think that Foggy is a Skrull. I think we're gonna get that in Daredevil, old Foggy Nelson. And I think that Hank Pym has been replaced.
Really?
I think Hank Pym's been replaced. Because something about Quantumania, though Michael Douglas did an amazing job, don't get me wrong. I think if I was a Skrull, I would want to infiltrate the quantum realm, and Hank Pym would be my way in.
Sure.
So
would Hank Pym be your way in, or would the lesser known daughter, why can I not think of her name? Cassie,
or Cassie Lang, or Hope, one of the two. But Hank knows the tech better than any of them, and I feel like, and I have nothing.
But Cassie's the one that sent the signal to the quantum realm.
That's true. But I'm just thinking, like, the Skrulls' future plans. That's who I would think would be the best selection.
Also, when did Cassie learn, like, science and stuff? Like, I know she wants to follow her dad, but Ant-Man's not a techie guy.
No. And everyone else was dusted except for her. So has she been learning at an accelerated rate these past 2 years?
She could have just been learning and educating herself. Characters do that. I mean, I had the same thing in Miss Marvel. I said, what's his name could be a Skrull? Her friend. I can't think of it. I'm picturing him, but I can't think of his name.
Oh, the kid?
Miss Marvel's friend.
The dude.
Oh, Bruno.
Who made her tech. Bruno, yeah.
Yeah.
I said, what if he's a Skrull? Back in our Miss Marvel episode.
I thought about it, and I said Val at the beginning of the episode, so Val, for sure. and I know these are characters who don't have a specific, we're coming back to this, but I still kind of want to say that Nikki from She-Hulk could be a Skrull.
Yeah.
Like there's just something about the push for her, like Brian said when we were doing our after show, something about her pushing her into the spotlight is still a little.
Yeah, she was really shoving her into the spotlight. Pug could be one.
Who?
Pug.
Yeah.
Pug would be an interesting Skrull choice. Like,
he's just
your job
he'd
is
be
to get
easier
close
to
to Jennifer
impersonate.
Walters. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just kind
because
of
as we saw in their chamber, they had so many more people under the influence.
Yeah, for sure.
And we saw that not all of them were higher ups. Some of them were just random tourists that came to Russia at the wrong time and got abducted. So there's all these other characters that could be. So that's your question for this week, Fandomites. Give us your top 3 people in characters we've seen in the MCU before that may be Skrulls going into the end of Secret Invasion that were not shown. So, and hey, if they were shown in Secret Invasion, but we never got a confirmation that they were a Skrull, and you really think they're a Skrull, let us know that too. That because that still counts. We didn't get confirmation. Other than that, I think
Wouldn't it be twisted if Ritson was?
Oh, he'd be hated by the Skrulls, but
like
that would
if
be
he's
twisted.
like.
Okay, but what if he's a Kree? Okay, but what if he's a Kree?
Okay.
Because Kree can kind of look like humans.
Yes.
Yeah. And the mentality of, if you really want to save the Skrulls, get them off my planet.
Yep.
Like, that sounded weird. Like, for an American president to stay off my planet. But then again, Independence Day. I go back to Independence Day and go, yeah.
I go back to 2016.
Yeah.
Just go back to every government pretty much sucks and is corrupt in some way.
So.
All right, that's gonna take us out of our talking nerdy segment. Thank you guys. Get those into us soon, and we'll put them on our next episode. How about that?
Yeah, how about that?
Be sure to send in your response to this week's Talk Nerdy topic, and any other nerdy stuff like episode topic suggestions, fan theories, or cosplay photos so we can put it in future episodes. If you think it's nerdy, we want you to share it. The Talk Nerdy links like the email and website are in the episode description as always. And don't forget you can also call or text the Nerd Line. That number is in the description as well. That's all for now. Let's get back to the show.
Have been getting a lot more input on the Nerd Line. So definitely keep those coming. I've had a few people just reach out, just be like, "Hey, I'm really enjoying the show." Little stuff like that. I know of 3 people that we've met that are going back through our back catalog because they told me they were. So, and they have a lot of opinions on some of our older episodes, and I'm like, "Hey, man, I didn't even remember we did that episode, so thank you for reminding me." So definitely keep the Nerd Line in mind. Yeah, I guess let's wrap it up. What are your ratings, guys? For this awesome epic show that if anyone didn't like, it's valid that they didn't like it, but they should not broadcast it online. Beard.
I mean, you could say you didn't like it, but just you're responding to someone who likes it every single time that I mean, you look in comment sections. Anytime you look in a comment section where someone's talking positively, you'll have a comment underneath of why they're wrong. And that's
Agreed.
I'm gonna give it 8.5 out of 10.
8.5 beards out of 10 beards for the bearded wonder. Nerd Squatch, how many Squatch prints?
I'm gonna say 8. I'm gonna go a half a point lower. There are some things I would have liked a little bit more of, but overall, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you. I'm gonna give it an 8 as well. Because and I know we didn't talk about this, and as soon as I say it, y'all are gonna know why. I took off a solid point for that atrocious, nauseating AI art at the beginning.
Oh, we didn't even get into
We
that.
didn't get into it, and I realized that we didn't. I'm kind of glad we didn't.
All
Yeah,
I gotta
that's the
say
whole
about
thing.
it is I hope these VFX artists that I don't know if you've heard, but they're starting to unionize at Marvel Studios. And
Good.
Good.
I hope they just do what everybody else is doing.
I
won't take up
point
more
for that,
time.
And then the comment, the whole not or underutilizing some of the characters. That's the other point.
Yeah.
I won't get into a whole thing about the AI thing, but I will just say it sucked. I hated it. It was cool looking, but because of what it was, like, just pay real artists.
Yeah,
and
it was,
That's all I gotta
dude.
say about
It was the first time I was very appreciative of the skip intro button.
it. Yes.
By the second episode, I figured out how many times I had to click past after I hit the skip intro button.
Peacemaker spoiled us.
Yeah, yeah, they did.
Damn, they spoiled us.
Well, that is an overall average rating of about 8, so that's not bad. 8 out of 10 from the guys over here at the Bear and the Beard. If you enjoyed it, also let us know that. Talking nerdy comments, whatever. If you didn't, let us know why. But again, remember what Beard said. If it's because in the comics he's not going to read it, so he's tuning you out after that. So everything else going into it. What do we have coming out? Are we going to talk some Maximals next?
We should talk Transformers next.
I think we should talk Transformers.
That's still fresh, and I
Return of the Bay, because we've done one episode on Bay already, and I'm ready to talk because I just watched Rise of the Beasts.
Me
Wait,
too.
did Michael Bay direct that?
No, well, he produced it. They had to give him producer credit.
Yep.
Because it is his franchise that he started. So soft reboot, successful.
So watch our episode. Michael Bay exploded our childhoods.
Yeah, Michael Bay exploded our
Both
childhoods.
of my childhoods.
Right.
Both. I am a Transformers nut and a Turtles nut.
And we talked about all of it in that episode.
Hurt me. He hurt me.
And it's so weird too because he's such a good director. If you go watch like Underground 6,
I love the first Transformers,
or Bad Boys, or The Rock.
This is a preview conversation to our next episode.
Yeah, definitely.
And look, it seems to be that towards the end, when he quit working on them, they got better. Like Bumblebee is great.
Bumblebee's amazing.
Last night is absolute garbage.
Yep.
Okay.
You retconned everything you did. That's weird. Why would you do that?
Yep. Out of the Shadows is an awesome tribute to the original 80s Turtles movie. But Michael Bay didn't direct it. The one that he didn't direct the first one either.
Michael Bay just got us sitting around our childhood like, this is fine.
Exactly. Yep. Like,
this is fine.
Alien Turtles, Michael? Alien Turtles, Michael.
Oh, but that is definitely the next conversation will be Rise of the Beasts. We'll revisit Michael Bay a little bit in that episode for sure. And interested in being on that episode. If you're a huge Transformers fan like this guy and Nerd Squatch down there, definitely let us know. We'd love to have you. At this point, that is our next topic, and then probably need to get into I really want to go see Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle's coming out the day this drops. So if we can make that happen, we'll do that. And we'll have updates from cons and stuff like that too. Again, if you are going to be in Destin, Florida next weekend after this drops, come and see us at My Hero Con. If you are in the Gulf Coast area of Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, or Louisiana, please drive over to go watch Kinky Boots. Nerd Squatch has been working so hard on that. Links for ticket purchases will be in the episode description for that and for My Hero Con. And we'd just love to see you. We'd love to see you. Let us know you're a fan of the show. And Beard, you got anything?
I have one last kind of announcement thing I want to officially announce. It does not have a name yet, but me and my little brother are going to be starting a strictly Star Wars podcast.
Yes.
Hail.
Him and I have vastly different opinions about Star Wars, but him and I can easily respectfully talk about it, and so we're going to be talking about Star Wars, which means I need to watch more Star Wars stuff that I haven't seen because, but there's a lot to talk about, a lot of
Yes.
opinions, a lot of
And
debates.
and on that note, be on the lookout. Just in the future, we have an anime related podcast that is in talks of joining us. I'm not going to name or anything right now. It's still in the works, but we are hoping to drop that sometime in September. That is coming to us from some fans and some friends that we made at Mississippi Comic-Con. We also have a cosplay related podcast that we're also going to be doing. We're going to be working with cosplayers on that. So yeah, Star Wars, Battle of the Star Wars opinions coming. We got anime coming.
Him and I are talking about maybe January, because January is the start of the year, and so we can kind of like Bear and the Beard podcast do year-long seasons kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that show will be like a one episode a month thing, because my little brother has a busy college schedule. He's a smart guy. So we're going to get together at least once a month to put out an episode, and that's going to be a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Also, other announcement I forgot about until you said announcement. I have started a Twitch channel.
Yes.
I'm trying to get affiliate on there. So if you're a gamer at all and you like watching Twitch streams, go follow mine. It's nerdy _bear. I'll link it in the description. And also be sure to check out our friend Katie over at Katie B's Gaming. She's been doing gaming. We're going to try to get into Phasmophobia later this month because it's coming to console. But if you like Fortnite, COD, Rocket League, or Apex Legends, I'm your guy right now. So come and check us out. Beard makes an appearance a lot on our Fortnite nights. So definitely come and check that out. And that's all pretty much coming out of from us. We thank all of our team members. We thank all of our supporters and everything. Go check out the Patreon. I've had a lot of people asking, like, how do I get involved? Patreon. That's how you get involved.
Yep.
And until next time, I guess it's time to get out of here. I got to get back up to Saber, so because I might, I'm definitely going to be on this whole episode. It's going to be, recorded, offsite. But I'm going to get out of here. I've been the Bear.
I've been the Beard, unless I'm a
I've
Skrull.
been Nerd Squatch.
Unless we're Skrulls. And we want to remind you, as always, to what is it they say? Stay awesome.
Stay bearded.
And much love, guys.
Much
We'll
love.
see y'all next episode. Until then, we are
out
of here.
Boom, cut the check.
That was totally wicked! Thanks for checking out another Bearded Bear Entertainment production. New episodes of this show are released every other Friday at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time in both audio and video format. Audio episodes are available pretty much anywhere you get your podcasts, and YouTube is the only place for video format.
For listeners, subscribe on your app so your device downloads it automatically, and for viewers, subscribe and click that little bell so you're notified about all our new nerdy content. Also, don't forget to follow us on our socials.
Facebook,
Instagram, and
TikTok
are all great places to interact with us.
Many thanks to the rest of our team, all of our geeks of the round table, and all of our awesome friends of the cast. Much love, y'all. Lastly, for more cool music like this awesome outro track, go check out HarlequinSoul, Secret Apex on Facebook and Spotify. His links are in the description as well.
Talk at you next episode, nerds.
See you then!